how to make sure that experts are clear on what dialect they should learn and what phrases they should start with.
The problem is that even native Arabic speaking kids don't speak Arabic with their friends. Some of them would feel like this is not cool. I would say the sad part maybe that they take Arabic in school for so many years and then still their level of Arabic, I can see the difference between my eldest and my youngest. Mutate mic, which is basically like the word mute has been totally Arabized, that you even used the Arabic grammar into that and created your own term. Team up with a native speaker. Start to use a few expressions and phrases. Try to understand different vocabs so that you would be familiar more in using them.
Language is the homeland of those who have no homeland. How beautiful that is. Yes.
It's beautiful.
Marhaban and welcome back to Vision Voices, the Arabic series. I'm Lara and I'm here with my co-host Radwa Hassan, a mother, a native Arabic speaker, as someone navigating the beauty and tension of Arabic across generations. Today's conversation is for anyone who has ever paused before speaking Arabic wondering, is my Arabic good enough? Or maybe even, is it mine at all? Because let's be honest, Arabic isn't just a language, it's the identity. It's the legacy, it's the soundtrack to our upbringing, even if it's not fluent. And lately, there's a line that I came across from the poet Mahmoud Darwish. On this earth, there is that which deserves life. That's the translation, of course, but made me think that I believe Arabic is part of that. Not just the structure of the language, but what it holds. The wisdom, the rhythm, and the echoes of every story we've ever heard here in the UAE during traditional occasions.
أهلا بيكم في Vision Voices Arabic Series. أنا رضوى حسن ويسعدني أن أنا أكون الكو-هوست مع لارا في episode جديدة. النهاردة الابيسود على the Arabic we inherit and the Arabic we create. اللغة كالكائن الحي إن لم تتغير تموت. We create the language we speak. We inherit a language, but the language that we create is pretty much adapting to the life that we live. I believe that the language that I used to speak as a child is completely different than what my kids are speaking right now. And as the saying goes that the language is like a living being, it has to adapt to the way we are living. And this is what we are seeing with the younger generation right now. I believe if we had forced on them a language that we were taught in schools as kids, or even the classical Arabic, that they would have completely turned it back and not really adapted to a new language that they have created. So they have managed to create a blend between the English that they're taking heavily in school, that they are using on social media, and the Arabic that they listen to at home, on social media, through influencers, to a new type of language. So if I can even refer to how I'm seeing this in real life with my kids and the way they are blending the different terms. Some of them, or some of the younger generation, they can't even understand the terminologies that we see, but they create their own version of terminologies. So let's see, for example, the blend between أركب scooter. I'm going to ride a scooter. So using the gadgets that they're using every day is something that makes them comfortable to use this blend of language. Dealing with each other in school, and even taking this into the a bit older generation at work, and the way we deal with technology. For example, when you say update السيستم, update الملف, schedule المكالمة, دي كلها terms and expressions that everyone is using now at work and in life. And we don't feel any barrier with this type of terminology. So no one would just like freeze and say, oh, what are you saying? How can you say update الملف? It's now common language in common terms.
Thank you, Radwa, for introducing the topic in such a nice way. So what a brilliant quote you mentioned at the beginning. How does it sound in Arabic, by the way?
اللغة كالكائن الحي إن لم تتغير تموت. So if you don't really bring change, and if the language doesn't change to the way you're living it, it dies.
Such a deep thought, in my opinion, because, I mean, considering the fact that we're living in the UAE with multiple different dialects of Arabic, let alone other languages and adoption of other languages as well. So I was just wondering, so which dialect do you speak at home with your kids when it comes to Arabic? Because you mentioned you were born in Egypt, and the language that you spoke back then is totally different from what you're using now. Your kids are using now.
Right. So I speak the Egyptian Arabic. My kids understand it very well. Of course, there are certain things that they have no clue about what it means. A lot of them, in fact. But that's how we try to always explain. Like, I make an effort to try and explain to my kids all the time about the different, not just Arabic and classical Arabic, because this is just like by far not something that they're relating to. They take it in school. And this is, I would say, the sad part, maybe, that they take Arabic in school for so many years, and then still their level of Arabic, I can see the difference between my eldest and my youngest. They can write it, but then they're not going to use it in their day-to-day.
Yeah, I've got something to comment actually on this point. Being an expert, a non-Arabic speaker, but willing to learn Arabic for sure because of the number of years I've spent in the region, I get a little confused about which dialect should I learn. Or, for example, when my son studies Arabic at school, so which dialect are they learning, and how practical the knowledge that he's giving, so that he could start using the language straight away. So I really, really would want to know more about the system of, education around Arabic language, and how to make sure that experts are clear on what dialect they should learn and what phrases they should start with.
Look, Lara, it's a very complex thing, in the sense that if a student or if a kid is not practicing the language, and this applies to all languages, if they're not practicing outside of school, then it's not going to stick. And the problem is that even the native Arabic speaking kids don't speak Arabic with their friends. Some of them would feel like, this is not cool. And because they're taking English in school as a first language, many of them, they feel like this is the language that they need to use. And if they use their own native language, mother tongue, they feel like this is not cool enough. So that's why we end up with having a large number of students who are taking Arabic in school, who hardly after many, like 6 or 7 years, and they're not mastering it. They just like understand a few words, but they can't speak it. They can say, Salamu alaikum, كيف حالك, but you wouldn't find them putting a full sentence.
It's interesting. You also gave me a few examples of how Arabic is adopting, let's say, other languages. So to make sure, maybe, and it got me thinking that maybe that's the tendency to either simplify Arabic or make it more universal for different dialects. Like you gave me an example of some of the words that are some of the expressions that use one word, one part of the expression as an Arabic and one part is an English, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to give those examples.
There's lots of them, and you see them at work even more in schools, because I think in schools the kids have more freedom to use whatever they want to use. But at work, you have different terms and tools that you use. Let me give you an example. One of my colleagues from Saudi mentioned that. Mutate el mic. It's just like you muted the mic.
I almost understood it, actually.
Yeah, mutate el mic, which is basically like the word mute has been totally Arabized, that you even used the Arabic grammar into that and created your own term. Updated الملف. Log el system.
Log into the system.
Yeah. Another one. It's just like this. This is very.
But in my opinion, those are the things, because they were. We learn those things in English. So that's why I think it is just quite difficult to find the equivalent words in, let's say, Arabic or any other language. It's easier to adopt the English version of these words into your own language. So maybe that is the reason there are so many business words that are adopted into, other languages.
Well, that could be the case for sure with some languages, but I think even let's take the word update. Update has a synonym in Arabic. So you can use the Arabic version of it as a translation, but people find it easier. Look at Russian, for example. Can you find the same term in Russian or not?
I have to tell you that my Russian has become also quite adaptive to most of the things that I've learned here, either in English or I've learned them to be explained in a different language here in the region, because I've spent so much time here. Yeah. So with this regard, sometimes when I talk to the new generations of Russians who are coming here for a visit or something, so I actually learn the new words from them. I mean, it's easier definitely for me to start using them, but just because when you live in a place for a long time and you learn certain things and they are explained in all different languages, including Arabic, let's say, including English, maybe French, maybe a mixture of all these languages, you learn those terms and you start using them this way, right? So it's just a natural process. And that is to your point that basically any language, including Arabic, is not just a language. It shows where you're coming from, where you've lived, right, where you were brought up.
Yeah.
And it also shows where you learned it, right? So at the level of the education.
Absolutely. I can even feel the difference between my two kids. One of them, both of them were born in Egypt, but one of them went to school primary much longer and have taken proper Arabic in Egypt. And the other one did not. I can see the difference. One has a good foundation of understanding Arabic and the grammar better than the other one. And to your point, it is so true. After you leave a place for some time, there are so many terms that come up that you're not aware of. So when you meet people there, it's just like they use some terms, it's just like, what does this mean? It's just like, how come you don't know it? And I feel like, oh, you're not out of place, but you are not updated with what they're currently using. The word approve.
Yeah.
Okay. They would use it as just like approved.
That's interesting. I've never heard anything to be like, it's a pure English word taken into Arabic and pronounced with the Arabic sort of articulation and the Arabic pronunciation, let's say.
Yeah. The word brief. But to brief someone, you even use it as a verb. Briefni, brief me.
Brief me. Yeah, that is such a marketing word, isn't it?
Like, yeah. So for ages, it's just like to get me up to speed with that brief. So,
or give me a summary of the task that you want me to fulfill or something.
Exactly.
Brief. It's a brief. That's why I said it's a very marketing word, isn't it? We often brief our vendors, on what we want to do. So it's been literally used the same way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you find it, by the way, in lots of the names even of some of the podcasts. That there is a mix of English and Arabic. And I'll mention one of my favorite ones that I really like very much. And it talks about gives you a brief on books.
Yeah.
And a summary. And it's just like the name of the podcast or the program is El Brief, which is the brief.
So it's even taken in the title. It's not like a jargon kind of thing.
No. El Brief für Rif. Rif means loaf of bread or the Arabic bread.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a brief and a piece of bread. It's like a sandwich. But see how creative the name and how the mix between the Arabic and the English.
It's brilliant.
So this is total adaptation to the language and the change and to your audience and how they're expecting it.
What's your point of view about that in terms of how, Arabic becomes, let's say, more modern, more universal, probably more familiar to many different people speaking different dialects of Arabic. So what's your point of view around that? Do you think this is a good tendency? Or do you ever feel a little bit sad or poetic about the fact that the traditional Arabic you learned when you were a child is fading away?
Well, to be honest, I don't think I feel sad about it. Sometimes we would feel like, even as kids, we never spoke the classical Arabic. We have it in books, and it's going to continue to remain in the books. But things change, and things change of how people think and the style of life and the pace. They had luxury before in the past to just much more time to read books and to enjoy poetry. That's not the style of life that people are living now. The attention span is really short. So you need to even adapt to that, the terms and the words that you're using. And it's great that we have an adaptive language because people continue to use the language. I think what we would need to do is to encourage the younger generation to use it and not to make fun of anyone whenever they're using the language. Because if we keep on saying, oh, the type of language that you are using is not the right thing, in fact, we should celebrate it and not just to criticize it. That is how we can encourage more people to start to use the Arabic language in however manner they can. I mean, we should not guard the language and feel like, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be saying that, but rather to celebrate it and encourage it.
I really like this idea. I also wanted to ask you, so your point of view around the fact that lots of experts, for example, if we take Dubai as an example, are trying to learn Arabic. For a native Arabic speaker, regardless of the dialect, is it a natural process? Is it something natural to hear a totally non-Arabic speaking expat trying to learn and use Arabic in their day-to-day life? How does this sound? Funny, perhaps?
Of course, sometimes it sounds funny, but again, it depends on how far you want to be integrated into the culture.
That's
and
right.
To be part of it. Some people would live, and I have seen people who have even who were born, raised here, went to schools here, and after many long years, they haven't captured much of the language. And there are some people who come here for a few years, and you find them just like trying to speak the language easier. And it depends also on their surrounding. So if you're married to a native speaker, if your kids are born to a parent who is a native Arabic speaker, maybe you would have more tendency to learn the language. But even if you don't have any connection to a native speaker, still understanding and learning a few phrases and words and to get to know the language makes things easier, breaks the ice faster with others as well, with the native speakers, since you just like live around them most of the time.
In my opinion, it's just coming back to our point of the beginning of the episode. Language is not just a language, right? It's a tradition, and it's how you understand the other mentality, the other traditions, and the childhoods, the stories.
Very true.
So without trying to feel attached to that. How would you integrate in a diverse environment like Dubai, where everybody has its place, right? In fact, I actually found another quote that stuck with me. Language is the homeland of those who have no homeland. How beautiful that is. Yes,
it's beautiful, and it starts from, I would say, the few phrases that you can use for your day-to-day, like the hello and how are you, and the more you feel confident about using the simple words, you're going to be more encouraged to use more complex phrases.
I hope the conversations that we are having on these Arabic series are going to attract, or at least drive, some awareness about the fact that there are certain taboos around, different languages and the way we speak with each other. But I think the whole point of these conversations is to unpack that. No matter how many taboos are around there, like, do I use Arabic? Is my accent in English good enough, right? Do I even dare to speak Arabic with an Arabic speaker, right? I think those are the things that need to be unpacked to make sure that people are feeling a lot more freedom in terms of communication, and also in terms of adopting different languages into their day-to-day life. Do you agree? What's your point of view around that?
I fully agree with you, and I'll tell you, as a native Arabic speaker, I feel so happy when I find a non-native speaking Arabic, and we kind of say, "Oh, this is so cute. How can I help you to learn more?" So we always celebrate that. You look into videos on social media, TikTok, of non-natives who are trying to put content in Arabic. And even though sometimes it's a little bit of a broken Arabic, but everyone is just like saying, "Oh, well done. This is great. How can we really help you to make more content?" So you feel that they're blending and integrating into society. So I think if you are looking into how to recommend this, I would say the first step is team up with a native speaker. Start to use a few expressions and phrases. Try to understand different vocabs so that you would be familiar more in using them.
Those are great pieces of advice. And yeah, I love the conversation for this episode. So until then, let's see what we're going to cover in the next episode.
Thank you so much, Lara. It's been really a pleasure.